Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me. Yes. Hi everyone, welcome to Digital Vidya's webinar. My name is Divya Mahajan and I would like to introduce the webinar topic to you. It's on the future of search and we have Mandar Marathe who is having experience of 8 years in digital marketing and is one of the co-founder of Briefcase Digital Communications. And in this webinar, Mandar will talk about what are the emerging devices, technologies, and how do they affect consumer search or their purchase behavior. He'll also discuss mobile app and how do we get them indexed. Next, he'll be covering is about optimizing content for voice search and social searches. So we'll talk about all these topics in detail with Mandar today. And I'll hand over the session to you. If anyone faces any issues, you can just type in down in the chat panel on the right hand side. Also, we'll take up all your queries after the webinar. So we'll give out 30 to 40 minutes for the presentation and next we'll take up all your queries. So if you have any queries, you can type in the question panel on the right hand side. We'll answer your queries after the presentation. Thank you. Over to you, Mandar.
Thank you, Divya. This is actually Mandar's pet robo speaking. Shut up, pet robo. So actually I wanted this webinar to be conducted by my pet robo, but for the greater good, I'll just turn to my human voice. So today we're going to talk about the future of search. And hello, again, I am Mandar. And if you had a chance to do a quick Google search on me, this is what the search results would show. And I'm definitely not the guy who loves fine art or the guy who owns a fine art studio somewhere in Pune. I am actually the third link on your Google search results. So if you click on the third link and you go to my LinkedIn profile, without wasting much time, I'll just quickly introduce myself. So currently I'm the co-founder at Briefcase, and I've been running this agency along with Purab, one of the other co-founders, for a couple of years now. Before that I was at Reprise Media, and then before that at Digitas, and I started my career as a software engineer at Infosys. Uh, I also have a computer science engineering background and an MBA. Yeah. So let's get to the topic and let's talk about the future of search. Yeah. So I think before we talk about the future of search, what's important is to understand how search has evolved and what's been the past like, right? So the first search engine that was there was created by these two guys called David Philo and Jerry Yang, and they created Yahoo directories. The Yahoo directories was nothing but a curated list of websites which were picked up by these guys and put up on the Yahoo directory portal. And in its initial days, the directory itself was not searchable, right? But during the same time, I think somewhere in Washington DC, in Washington, Seattle actually, this guy called Brian Pinkerton, he created the first crawler. So it was not Google who created the first search engine, but this guy called Brian. And he created something called web crawler. If you can go to webcrawler.com, the first web crawler still exists. And at that time, this crawler was able to crawl at the max of 25 websites. The reason being that there were only 25 websites in 1994, right? Later on, this guy Brian sold his web crawler to AOL, and AOL then used the web crawler technology to power their search product, which was Excite. How many of you have used or have heard of Lycus? Because way back, I think in 1994, Lycus was also one of the search engines that was started, and by 1997, this search engine had around 60 million pages that was indexed. By 1999, this was the most visited website on the internet. Yeah. Also, somewhere in 94, 95, there was this search engine which was launched, which was called InfoSeek. InfoSeek did not bring about any technical revolution, but They were a very simple search engine that you could type in queries, and they later on convinced Netscape to actually make them the default search engine. So they got a lot of mileage by being associated with Netscape. Then came, I think, the revolution in search engine technology with Alta Vista, again from the United States. So the Alta Vista was the first search engine that actually was able to understand natural language, was able to actually add or delete URLs. So webmasters of different websites could actually submit their pages and submit the URLs and could have them indexed as well as removed within 24 hours. Right? Later on in 1998, I think, came the big daddy of all search engines, which was Google. So Google was actually a research project which was started by Larry Page and Sergey Brin in Stanford. And if you take a look at the setup that they had for the first search engine, they had 10 hard disks. Each hard disk was around 4 GB. So they had a space of 40 GB for processing all the data that they indexed over the web. Right? So the first search engine was very limited in terms of its scope and the amount of data that it could index. Also, the revolution that Google brought in the search space was the PageRank algorithm. And the PageRank algorithm is relevant even in today's time. What the PageRank algorithm says is that it's a vote of confidence from one website to the other website. For example, if website F uh, points back or links to website B, then it's passing on some sort of vote of confidence to website B. And if website B is linking to website C, then website B is giving a vote of confidence to website C. So the more important the website, the more important the vote that you get, right? Although in today's time, I think search engines have evolved a lot. Uh, there are almost 500 updates that Google throws out every year to improve its algorithm. There are more than 200 parameters which go into ranking pages on search engines. So a quick exercise that you could do on the side is just go to Google and then maybe type in Google in 1998, and then you will see the search results that you get from Google. So that brings us to Google as of today. We are in 2016. Google operates in 123 languages, and there are more than 5 billion queries which are indexed or searched on a daily basis. So it might sound as if I'm a Google fanboy, and if that's the case, you guys are right. I'm very much a Google fanboy, but this is not about me being a Google fanboy. This is about Google actually revolutionizing the search space, right? So although there were a lot of search engines that were built earlier, uh, Google was the first to actually monetize the search engine space. So there was a company called goto.com. They started advertising on search engines before Google did. But with Google's AdWords program and then later on the Google AdSense program in 2003, Google was able to push out its ads on different publishers, on bloggers who had their own individual blogs. They could actually put a small AdSense code on their page and then start getting ads from that were created through the Google AdWords program. So in 2015, Google AdWords actually contributed to 15% of all of Google's revenue, and in 2007, this was around 33% of the revenue. So 1/3 of all of Google's revenue uh, came from the AdWords program in 2007. With this much amount of money, what Google actually decided to do is get aggressive into the display space. So they bought out DoubleClick for $3 billion, close to a $3 billion. And at that time when they bought out DoubleClick, I was very much in Boston and working with Google as our partner. And there was a loud noise in terms of Google making this acquisition or buying out this company, because at that time it created the largest advertising agency, which was then Google, right? So over a period of time, I mean, the revenues for Google have been increasing, and as you see during the acquisition period also, there was a steep rise in terms of revenue for Google. The market share for Google has been increasing over a period of time. In 2009 in United States, it was around 67%. Whereas if you look at the market share today, you can see that for the United States, it's around 80%. But if you look at other countries from where Google gets most of its traffic, you can see that India has 96% market share. In Brazil, Google has 95% market share. In Australia, around 94% market share. So they are at a point of world domination when it comes to search engine technology, right? And that's the reason I'm going to focus a lot on Google in today's webinar. Right? So with over 5 billion searches every day that are happening on Google, we can definitely say that Google has uh, reached the zenith of innovation when it comes to search engine technology. Right? What else has changed? I mean, apart from uh, search engines getting popular, is that uh, the technology or computing piece has changed. In the 1960s, we had mainframes. In the 1970s, we had mini computing. In the 80s, we had the entire PC revolution. Right? In the 90s, we had desktops which were then powered by the internet. And come in 2000, we had the mobile phone revolution. So I think this revolution was started by Apple with its iPhone, uh, and as we go ahead in time from the early 2000s to where we are today, I think what we are seeing is a significant increase in mobile traffic. Right, somewhere in, I think, in 2012, in May 2012, India was the first country in the world where traffic from mobile devices actually surpassed the traffic from desktop devices. And to capitalize on this mobile trend that Google was observing, uh, what it did was it launched Android, which was a free-for-all operating system, right, on mobile. And if you can see, this is statistics for United States. You can see that the uh, time which people spend on vertical screens, which are your mobile devices, that has been increasing over a period of time. So approximately 29 or 30% of the internet browsing in the United States is again done on the vertical screens, which are your mobile devices. We spoke about this. We spoke about that traffic in India from mobile devices is actually surpassed the traffic from desktops, right? Also in 2012, Google announced that they had 500 million Android devices, and approximately 1.3 million devices were added on a daily basis. Right? Most recently, Matt Cutts, who's, I think, on a sabbatical from Google, who used to head the web spam team there, he made a statement saying that more Google searches take place on mobile devices than on computers in 10 countries, including the US and Japan. So India being one of them, we surely are now moving towards a mobile-first economy, right? So as you can see here, Android is eating Apple for buying. It's not just search in which Google leads innovation. Google is also building driverless cars. So one of the reasons why Google is building these driverless cars is not, not to create an army of these vehicles on the road. But whenever someone purchases a driverless car and is commuting to work, imagine the amount of free time that person has. And the free time that the person would have, I think what Google is looking forward is that the person would utilize that time on his mobile device, either for searching for the nearest gas station or for searching for the nearest restaurant that he may want to visit, or for taking a look up on the traffic data that is there for when he's commuting to work, right? So Google wants to monetize the free time that would be available when these driverless cars would hit the roads. The second innovation that Google and most of the other companies have also come out with is augmented reality. And I think the first of its product was Google Glass, although it's not fully AR. But what Google Glass actually does is it gives you, it allows you to search real world experiences, right? So I think one of the first such instances of using Google Glass was uh, this club in Spain called Atletico Madrid. The assistant coach of this club actually used Google Glass to analyze movements of players, to analyze the game in real time. So imagine the way watching your favorite sport is going to change if we have access to these devices and we are able to real time search information based on what we are viewing, right? There is this other game which has been released for Google Glass. It's called Race Yourself, wherein you can actually improve your fitness or your health by actually racing against yourself and then understanding how you are performing. So I think apart from computing being evolved and search being there since the 1990s, there has been a lot of transition in terms of how search has evolved, and we are going to look at three important elements in terms of why search has evolved or how it has evolved. So the first thing about search in terms of evolution is being current. Sorry, that's actually being current. So yesterday's news, Sanjay Dutt just released from prison. So if you would search for Sanjay Dutt on Google, uh, you will understand what I'm talking about. You will see, and if you'll go to the images part, you will see that the most recent images of Sanjay Dutt appear higher up in the search results. Same is the case for web search or your mobile search. If you'll just fire up Google Now or maybe your Siri on your mobile phone and then talk Sanjay Dutt, it would definitely throw up results that are more relevant and more recent. Right? That's because of Google's freshness update, and they call the freshness update as the caffeine update. What this caffeine update does is, earlier Google used to index the web pages on a regular basis, which was around once or twice a month, and then store those indexes into their servers. But with the caffeine update, Google is indexing these pages more frequently and as frequent as on a daily basis. So you will see that news and information are hitting you almost at the same time when the events are occurring offline. The second thing that has changed is the ability to answer questions. By answering questions, I think the first thing which I typed in was, how tall is Deepika Padukone? So because if I was not married and if I was single, I would definitely want to date Deepika. So I thought I should at least be taller than Deepika. So I typed in the query, how tall is Deepika Padukone, and it showed me that she was 1.74 meters tall. I'm still shorter than Sonam, by the way. So I think what Google is trying to do is Google is trying to make natural language processing much easier. So it's trying to focus on identifying the different entities which are there within the search queries and then throwing up relevant information related to those entities. So even if you talk about a particular popular person or if you talk about a well-known company, you will see that within the search results on your right hand side you see information in the form of a card which is then pulled up from Google and then given to you. So it's organized information about a company or a particular person, right? Even Bing has improved considerably when it comes to showing organized information or processing natural language. So they have also evolved their open graph or their knowledge graph actually, to showcase information about people, about popular companies, about destinations, etc. I think if you guys would have heard or attended the Google I/O event a couple of years ago, there was this guy called Amit Singhal, who was then the VP of search at Google, and today I think he's retired for philanthropic pursuits. So his entire objective was, to end search and make search more easier, to avoid search queries altogether. So I think since we are moving to the mobile first world, what Amit did as an experiment was he actually gave away using his desktop or his laptop and started conducting his business, started reading emails, started doing everything in his day-to-day life on his 2 mobile devices. And he was able to achieve a lot through that, right? So I think what Amit said was he raised a question saying that Google, tell me how Alfred Nobel made his money, right? What Google is leaning towards is the third thing, which has been existing since the uh, internet has came into existence, and since Tim Berners-Lee invented how one page would be linked to the other page through hyperlinks. So structured data or schema.org has been existing for a long time, but Google is now giving more importance to structured data, which means that whenever we create a site or we have different type of content on the website, there is a way to describe that content to Google. So if we are a business, a food business, and we have a lot of recipes listed down on our website, we can describe those recipes in a proper manner, writing code to Google. Google will understand that code and then show the search results in a proper manner. Similar thing which has been happening is Facebook's Open Graph. So they are also trying to organize the content and actually mine data based on the relationships that exist between entities. In this case, the entity would be the brand pages that you have liked and your own Facebook page, right? So in terms of evolution, there are 3 things just to recap how search has evolved. The first is that it is focusing on recent news appearing in search results through its caffeine update. The second way in which search has evolved in the 2000s is natural language processing, trying to understand entities and trying to understand relationships between the entities and throwing out relevant search results. And the third thing that Google wants every one of us, and its mission is to organize the content on the internet, organize the web, and have all the information organized on the web. That they are trying to achieve it by recommending webmasters or developers to actually go ahead and use structured data when they are creating websites, right? So with these 3 things in terms of what Google and what the search engine world is focusing on, let's take a look at some of the things that would happen in the future and what we need to focus on. So I think Larry Page gave Google's vision. So what he said was, in the future, you would not need a search query. Information would actually come to you just when you need it, right? So typing on a mobile phone, as you would understand, I mean, it's a cumbersome task. Your thumb actually occupies half of the space of the screen. So it's difficult for you to type and get answers to your query. It's a slow process. So we are moving into a voice recognition world. And I mean, if I take a look at this statement from Larry, where he says that information would come to us when we need it, there are 2 things that are important. The first thing is search engines will move towards personalization and personalizing your interaction with the search engine. The second thing that search engines are going to move towards is more of contextual content. By personalization and contextual content, what I actually mean is Google or Bing would try to combine the explicit search queries that we give out with the implicit aspects. For example, uh, today I'm sitting here in at my house in Thane, and if I talk to my phone and say, Google now, tell me the best Chinese restaurant, uh, and I just stop there. So Google will get intelligent over a period of time and understand that I am in Thane. It will extrapolate my location, and then based on my location it would actually give out relevant results. Same is the case with Apple Siri. So our phones will get much smarter in terms of understanding the environment in which we are operating and then serving the search results according to the environment in which we are operating. So I think Google's Venice update is very important. The Venice update that they did was to focus on localization of search results and to deliver results which were much more local in nature. And I think in the future also most of the search results that we would get from the different devices that we use would be local in nature. For example, if you use an Android device and if you have Google Now set up, you will, and if you have put in your interests, you would definitely get score updates, or you would get to know the weather in your city, or you would know what's happening. So information would actually come to you before you actually go out to seek information. So that's something which Google is trying to develop and evolve with its Google Now product, which is now available in all Android operating systems. Some other examples, I mean, for using Google Now or for using Apple Siri, you can see that if you book a flight or if you booked a ticket, you actually get updates in terms of when do you need to leave home. So it back calculates the time, it takes into consideration the traffic that's available, and then it gives you an alert or a reminder. Same is the case with your favorite game. If you're following football, then you get push notifications which are sent out to your phone in terms of the interest that you have, right? And so this is again a screenshot of what Apple Siri does. So if you just talk to Apple and say find a good place to eat that's close, again it will try to figure out your location using your GPS and then give you relevant results, right? So I think since we've spoken about the evolution of search and we've spoken about how search engines are uh, going to deliver content mainly on two hooks. One is personalization and the second is contextual content. I have 5 key takeaways. So I think it'll take me 5 minutes to go through these takeaways, and then we could open up the webinar for questions. Right. So the first takeaway, as I've spoken about, is to use structured snippets when it comes to describing content on your websites or describing content on mobile sites that you created. For example, if you do a quick search for Apple on Google, you will see that the company information is listed in a particular manner. And on the right, you see that this is the JSON code that you write on your website to actually describe your company to search engines. There are different structured snippets which are available, so you can describe your organization, you can describe the navigation which you have for your website, you can describe if you're a local business, you can give your address, you can, if you're an event related website, you could describe each and every event which is listed on your website. And then there are specific updates to specific kind of website. So you have a recipe structured snippet. If you're a software or a mobile app, you could describe your app to the search engines and so on. So there's a link at the bottom, and you could take a look at search engine land, and you could read up on schema markups to get started with implementing structured snippets for your website. Right. The second thing that I would want to recommend is uh, predict what users actually want. So with Google, actually Google Analytics not showing you the keyword information or not giving you 90% of the search queries, you don't get the keyword information. You won't understand what keyword the user has actually typed in to come to your website. So we don't get that intent information, but Google has done something else. They have put out a behavior and interest report. So if you go to the audience section in analytics and then you go to behaviors, you could actually understand the different types of audiences that are coming to your website. So this is a screenshot or a few graphs of a music website. So they offer music classes in Mumbai, and if you take a look at their website, take a look at their audience, we can understand that around 7% are those who are interested in South Asian films or are interested in movies. There are 6% who are interested in TV, and the largest range of audiences is between 18 to 24. So that way you could extrapolate that information and then create content which would be relevant to that audience segment, and then put that content out in the form of a blog or in the form of an infographic, in the form of a video, in any which medium you want to have that content put up and optimize that content. The third recommendation that we have is to index applications. So I think a couple of years ago, in 2014, I think Google released an API for Android OS and an SDK for the iOS, so that if developers implemented that SDK into their apps, the search engines could actually crawl pages or content which was based within the app, right? So for example, here, I mean, if I search for one actor, it actually shows me the content within IMDb's mobile app. So I think why is that important is we've spoken about it. We've spoken that there is more traffic which is coming from mobile devices as opposed to desktops and laptops. So to improve the relevancy of search results, it is important to serve results from within the app. And what Google also understands is that if a user is on an app, on an average the user would use the app for 3 to 4 minutes. So Google wants to bring in more engagement to their Android devices by serving or recommending apps to users. The fourth recommendation that I have, and I think there are a few slides on this, is to build content across platforms. So those don't just develop content for desktop screens, develop content which is for mobile devices also, or for your AR devices, or you have your Apple Watch. So try to develop content for different devices. First recommendation in here is use a proper user agent detection. So detect from which device is your website being accessed, and accordingly serve the relevant page or serve the relevant content to the user. The second is serve the kind of content based on the device or the screen size. So ClearTrip, I think, was the first travel agency or company in India to actually have an app for the Apple Watch. So ClearTrip has been the pioneers of technology when it comes to having the first iOS app or having the first Android app also in the travel space. And they've gone one step further by creating an app for the Apple Watch. The third thing which is important from an SEO or a search perspective is also to have a responsive design. So if you don't have a different website for your mobile device, make sure that the website which you have for your desktop version is responsive to different screens and resolutions. That way you will be able to rank much higher in search results because Google is actually giving a boost to websites that are mobile friendly or responsive in nature. And lastly, we should, when it comes to creating campaigns or creating any sort of content, make sure that we are creating content which would be local in nature, and content which would be specific or available only on mobile devices, right? And lastly, when it comes to search, create content that would be easily recognizable through voice search. For example, you would want to figure out your target audience and then the kind of questions that your target audience has, and then put up create the relevant pages on your website to answer those questions. For example, I just typed in a question which says how to play the guitar. I just uh, uh, brought up Google Now and asked Google Now how to play the guitar. The first result that I got was a Google card which actually came from a website called Tropical MV, and there were 4 tips to actually learn the guitar or play the guitar. So it's important to create a Q&A service on your website. Try to preempt the questions that you have on your website from your target audiences, and then create relevant pages to answer those questions, right? So that's it. Thank you so much for having me here. I'll open up the webinar for questions, and if you have any questions, Divya, over to you. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to do.
Thanks, Mandar. Thank you so much for the lovely session. Everyone, if you have any query, you can just type in the chat panel on the right-hand side. We'll take up all your questions one by one. So you can start typing in your questions. We don't have questions till now. And in the meantime, if any one of you is interested in learning digital marketing course from Digital Vidya, you can just select yes or no from the poll on your screen. And everyone else, you can give your questions in the question panel. So we have one question which is regarding what is freshness update in Google. Freshness update, yes, Mandar. Mandar, can you hear me?
Hear you.
Yes. So
Hello?
first
Yes,
question.
Devi, I can hear you.
First question is
Yeah, I have your
regarding.
question.
Hmm, hmm. So you can.
Okay, so related to the freshness update, uh, what Google is trying to do is trying to understand the results which would be relevant. So 1/3 of the search queries from the 5 billion search queries that happen on a daily basis, they are related to recent events or news. So people, 33% of the searches are happening around events that have just happened or news that is just out. So to make sure that the results are relevant to those search queries, Google came out with a freshness update which they call the caffeine update. Uh, what they actually did is they rebuilt the indexing algorithm to try and capture content from different sources. So they looked at some top publisher websites. If you type in, say, Sanjay Dutt, or you type in any recent event, you'd see that maybe a Times of India or an NDTV always ranks up higher, right? Or you'll see a Bollywood Hangama ranking up higher. The reason that is, I mean, they submit their search engines via sitemaps, and these websites are crawled on a very frequent or a regular basis to actually give out content which is relevant or in terms of the search query.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
I hope it does. Yeah. Thanks so much. Next question is by Karthik. He's asking how relevant will content marketing be in 2016, specifically with Google removing panel ads on the right side of search pages.
Excellent question. So I think yes, Google has done away with the ads on the right hand side. But if you, I mean, so content marketing would be relevant in terms of, and SEO would be more relevant since we have limited real estate on the Google search results. So again, optimizing your content and creating content would be more relevant in the future as opposed to trying to push your content through any paid advertising. In terms of content and specifically what content would be relevant, there was a survey which was conducted by Moz, and what they said was that 56% of the people actually want to read detailed or thorough content, which means that if we are creating content, make sure that it is well researched and it is authoritative, it is informative, it is comprehensive and it is unique in terms of what your competitors are offering. So yes, content marketing is going to be a big challenge. To counter this challenge, I think there are a lot of content marketing agencies that are coming up. So I think I know a few. One is called Contender. So they are actually hiring journalists, or they are hiring teams, or they're hiring people who have good content writing expertise, and then creating content for brands. So going forward, I would see that a lot of brands would move towards creating a lot of content and outsourcing most of these content creation responsibilities over a period of time.
Okay, thank you so much. Moving on, next question is from Rituraj. So he's asking how virtual reality will play a role in searches.
Uh,
Virtual
I think
reality.
currently yes. So virtual reality currently, I think it plays a limited role in terms of search, mainly because I mean it's what you see, and then the content is not indexed as such. So there is no index of the content that could be created and stored maybe in a central database or on Google servers, but the results would be more real time, so they would be served on the basis of what you see, and then on basis of your search history or your location or your daily route. So for example, if you're taking the metro on a daily basis, then and if you have switched on Google's location services or Google Now, it would, over a period of time, it would calculate the time that is taking to travel from point A to point B, and then let the user know. So Google will build up this, I mean, the search results, or build up the results which are served through AR devices on a real-time basis based on the history of the user or based on some history. But as of now, in terms of search, it has a limited application.
Thank you so much. Next question is from Nikhil. He's asking, how can augmented reality be helpful to e-commerce companies?
Uh, Great question. So I think one question would be one solution or one idea that I have would be if you are on an e-commerce site and you want to buy a pair of jeans, or if you want to buy a t-shirt, you would just put on your AR gear and then go to the website, and you could actually try out those clothes in the virtual sense and then see how they fit, or if you'd want to try a different size, if you want to change the colors, if you'd want to try a different fit, you could do all of that through virtual reality. So I think it would move towards an experiential sense in terms of, although we cannot touch and feel the products as such, but at least we would be able to understand or have a richer experience in terms of shopping or buying products online. That being said, these devices, the AR devices, I think Lenovo just launched its device in India for 12,000 rupees. So these devices are going to be expensive, and I don't see that a lot of consumers would be actually purchasing these devices for shopping or for specific applications. So I think brands would want to create these experiences in the outdoor digital space to try to bring about some sort of brand awareness. So I'd see a lot of AR campaigns that would happen around in malls or would happen around in public spaces that would create an engagement between the brand and the consumers. That's how I foresee e-commerce or shopping with AR.
Okay. Thank you so much. Another question from Ankit. He is asking, what are the ways to integrate voice recognition with digital campaigns?
So, I mean, there is no way to integrate voice recognition into your campaign. So you already have these systems. So you have Apple Siri, you have Microsoft has Cortana, Google has Google Now. Uh, these what do you call agents are already powering mobile devices and they are answering search queries. So I think from a campaign perspective, it's more important to understand the kind of questions your audience would have, and then just try to create answers for these questions very much in advance, and then create content for these answers. So create pages, create a video, create an infographic or an ebook for the kind of questions that you think you think would be relevant for your user. The second solution which I have is when it comes to mobile voice search, 40 to 60% of the search queries that go through voice search are location specific. So people are searching for places around them, or people are searching for driving directions. So I think if your campaign or your brand is not local, then how can we deliver a local experience for the brand and then create content for those local searches? So these are the two solutions that I would have.
Thank you so much. I guess we are done with the questions. So anyone of you whose question we have missed, you can just send it to my email ID, which is divyam@digitalvidya.com. We'll take up your questions directly from the email. And thank you, Mandar. Thank you for taking your time out. It was a wonderful session. We loved having you over here. We would like to
Thank
invite
you so much.
forward.
Thank you for all the 50 plus people who came over. Thank you so much. Thank you, Divya, for having me over. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Thank you so much. We'll send out the recording to everyone, so don't worry. Also, we'll share the deck with you, so you need not worry about the recording and decks. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you next Friday.
Thank you. Divya, should I wait around?
I'll send you another link for the video. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.